Let's watch it. Woo!
A $200,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective. This time in the $10 million Lego
Is he
studio.
gonna bring back the robot?
So I talked to every suspect involved. What I found shocked me.
Where's the robot? The bartender robot. That guy. That guy right there. Damn, his quality production went up insanely high, huh? Ooh.
Okay, before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon.
Why
Consignment
is my
just means
broken?
the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a store to sell, and he was supposed to get a cut when it sold. The entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection, and a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then...
That's an estimated if you can actually sell it. Like, for example, my League account that's like 10, what is it called? Like, yeah, like almost 12, 14 years old. It just because it's worth X amount of money doesn't mean it's gonna sell for that amount of money. It could also go for more depending on who you find.
On November 14th, 2024,
yeah, you never know.
Everything went wrong. This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner...
Dude, he kind of looks like the guy from Stranger Things. You know, the chief? The police guy?
Josh Johnson ran a sister store in Eugene, Oregon, and Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem, and this is the exact moment the Legos go missing. As that store is getting handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after taking over the store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between $2,000 to $5,000 that could be possibly related to Mr. Mansell's collection. There's a problem here. There should be over 10 times that amount in this store, given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000...
Well, that's a value that they put on it. They could be fucking lying for all we know.
In the store,
if I was evil, that's what I would do. I'd be like,
but what?
Actually, it's not
in order to
worth
solve
that
this
much.
case,
It's worthless.
let's think about the suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners. These are our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones. I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here. First of all, maybe this is just all the result of, you know, plain old thieves breaking in.
Sure.
What about that possibility?
Hi, I'm Chris. I was the previous franchise owner who signed the collection agreement with Brian Mansell.
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were in the police report or stolen.
Wait, people fucking
those.
steal?
Okay, so
Wait, people actually go out and break into Lego stores? Holy shit.
Gorman say emphatically it wasn't thieves, but if that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested? I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all. With a documentary, I tracked down the thief who stole $200,000 of Lego. Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our theory, it's worth noting Ben is currently facing a RICO lawsuit by Bricks and Minifigs. He was even targeted with a search warrant for stolen Legos.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
The owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
Why is he whispering? The stolen Legos. We're not stealing Legos. Bro, this guy actually is like ASMRing me right now. I'm gonna fall asleep.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
I stole the Legos?
What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He had no interaction, no relation To us, no relation to the story.
I will say, even though I think it's a ridiculous and stupid theory, the fact that he's even putting it on the table means it's good journalism. Yeah, like, refuting the proof away, but giving it as a proposal is good journalism.
That doesn't hold any water.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Apologies to the genius cops in Utah who play different.
We play differently here.
Play
But
different
I don't
is
believe
crazy.
that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew about these Legos. But who does Ben suspect is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series?
The guy who runs the entire company,
This guy.
Ammon McNeff, he personally
Ammon
came out to talk to
McNeff.
us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding
Yo, he did it because he's got an evil mustache, chat.
some of our Legos?
Evil mustache!
You're not?
No.
No.
Is it a lie?
No.
No.
That's a lie. You did take the Legos.
No.
We have our attorneys.
I'm kidding.
have
I don't know if
visited
he's
the Lego.
guilty or
Again,
not, but it's fun.
So who's
Brian Mansell.
okay, and who's that?
Brian
he's the guy who had a
and
bunch
Mansell,
of,
more like
$200,000 worth of
incel.
Legos in your other store.
Nope.
Never happened.
Nope.
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the
Nope.
CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the COO of Bricks and Minifigs.
The people you just saw are the McNeff brothers. They agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked them, do they have the Legos?
What I can tell
Why
you...
would they agree to be interviewed for this? I mean, why not? Like, if you're guilty, why would you not try to frame yourself in a good light? If you're not guilty, do the interview. They're not the ones suing, right? So they can have contact with Coffeezilla, if I understand correctly. Yeah, it could be a PR move, but they could be innocent. I don't fucking know. I'm not omniscient. Omniscient?
Is that we don't have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go missing. Parts of it seem to go missing on November 14th.
Well, and I guess that no, not at all. I'm going to say, like that is not accurate at all. Because
So you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere?
Elsewhere. When you look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year, he explicitly stated to another podcaster, the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on-site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been a big subject of the Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site...
You shouldn't be commenting on it. I don't know how it works with these guys being in contact with Coffeezilla.
locations.
That's what I have to wonder.
Can you address what that is? Is that
these
true?
guys aren't involved.
So the offsite location and the letter that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release,
This happened
because
before the
we had
lawsuit?
had,
Oh, yeah,
previous
maybe you're
break-ins,
right.
I specifically included the location that after this week.
You might actually be right.
Those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into
safes
the store.
for your
Okay,
Legos.
so for most of the time, the sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ammon McNeff suspects that a lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the off-site story, saying that later they no longer used those off-site locations. But what do we really know about the Gormans? They are the former franchise owners after all. I mean, shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects.
Yes,
they were
I
there
agree.
the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Crystal was behind on the lease payment at the location.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store. And so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things, which we've had franchisees do in the past, and that's problematic. So that's why we sent him up there to take some video footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we needed to do a hostile takeover, which
hostile
can happen in
takeover.
franchising, where a franchise owner just kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay.
Can you do that legally? Hostile takeover sounds so insane to me.
So Bricks and Minifigs' story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024. This is weeks before the takeover.
Yeah.
Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover, but at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th, once again, the same concern about the Gorman stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that he wasn't putting things, like hiding things in the back, and that and while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines, because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
So yeah, the McNeffs say, look, they don't trust the Gormans. And they explained it, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in her past.
She apparently has a retail theft and other criminal,
woman retail theft moment
arrests on her record that we were not aware of.
When was that?
I don't know.
For those that don't know, it's actually an actual common fact. Women are more prone to shoplifting because they have a tendency to be more inclined to be kleptomaniacs. Yeah, I actually knew a girl in high school. She was a klepto, and I felt really bad when I found out that she was stealing shit. I never did it with her, but I just started hearing about it, and I felt so bad. Yeah.
This has been
I
brought
don't know
out
why. It's like a psychological
by several
thing.
people online now.
Impulsive.
Now look, that's a huge accusation to bring up, and so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it.
Yeah, for sure.
She has a history of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Wait, but is that actually on her record?
Oh. Well, yes.
Well,
You know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
How long ago is that?
I am 45 now.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
This was in 1999. Something that happened 25 years ago, has no reflection and no bearing.
If she never did it again, I do chalk up kids stealing shit, being dumb. Yeah, I wouldn't automatically. Again, if she kept doing it, yeah, pattern recognition would say yeah, maybe she has a tendency to. Yeah. Is it true? She's
what
not
happened
denying
in the
it.
last 2 years, my management of the store, what happened the night corporate seized the store, it is another
Doesn't look that bad for
deflection.
45, I'm
and
not
it
gonna lie.
infuriates me. You're gonna try to publicly embarrass and shame me for somebody that was manipulated by local police departments when she was pregnant and 19 years old.
Did I just hear a Discord beep? Was that me or Coffeezilla?
You.
That was
That's my
Coffeezilla. That was
response
not
to
me.
that. I am so sorry. You're gonna have to blur and
was
cut
the
a lot of
video,
this,
yeah.
but that pisses me off. I own what I have done. I own the mistakes that I have made. You cannot intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right and I have the evidence to back it up.
Wow.
I don't think shoplifting when you're 19 and pregnant, like she said, is reflective of your behavior fucking 20 years later. I'm sorry. You can say, oh, Alana, no, you're excusing criminal behavior. I'm like, dude, when you're 19, your frontal lobe's not fully developed. Shit happens. I think when you repeatedly do it and you're a repeat offender, yeah, sure.
It's getting kind
Yeah,
of nasty
cringe.
and personal at this point,
It
and
is.
I just wanted to give people kind of their
Yeah, some
side.
people
But
knocked
at
over
every turn, I
fucking
hope you understand, I'm
mailboxes and
getting
shit.
contradictory stories, down to if the McNeffs knew about her history in the first place.
Like, they're bringing up something that I told them about.
Wait, you told them?
Told them.
Yo, OHEP with the 100 gifted. Thank you so much. You are so generous, guys. Double you, OHEP. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Enjoy. It's my birthday, bro. Wait, how many people's birthday is it, bro? Thank you. You shouldn't do that, man. Enjoy your birthday, man. Thank you.
They asked me.
They said they had no
You're
idea. They said
crazy.
if
Thank
we
you.
knew, we would have never hired her.
Because we would not have hired her had we known this.
Yeah,
I told
wait.
them I had a record from when I was 18. There was a family issue that, and didn't go into all of the details, but they were like, that's so long ago. We're going to hire you based on who you are
Yeah, and honestly, that's their fault then. Yeah.
now.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys can make up your own mind. My point is,
Wowie.
one side says up, the other says down, and it gets to the point both sides
It's irrelevant to the conversation at hand.
start hinting that they have photographic proof from the night of November 14th that proves the other side is lying. And so I'm like,
Why
look,
would you tell them that in the first place? Because you have to. If a company asks for your criminal record or like your past history, if you lie, you can get into deep shit. Yeah, even if it's something that's like a long time ago, you have to tell them. You have to. Yeah. Grounds for being fired? Yeah, some people would even go as far as getting sued. It's bad. Yeah. And that's valid. If you lie about, I don't know, being a criminal, like, and then people hire you, then it's not their fault. Statute of limitations? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the state.
look, at this point, let's stop talking. Show me the Legos.
Where
The
I
worst
was
they can
told
do is
we are
fire you,
100%
but yeah, being
have
fired is
possession
bad,
of photos
chat.
that prove that the Gormans are lying. And then you guys are telling me we 100% have possession of photos that prove this side's lying. Who's gonna drop the photos first? I mean, I feel like someone just has to, somebody's right here.
And after a lot of convincing, both sides agreed to show me the photos, corporate and the Gormans. In fact, I scheduled the calls to do this an hour apart from each other. But let's remember their positions for a second. The Gormans say whatever was left unsold of Brian's collection that was in that store spreadsheet was in Salem store the night of November 14th. Then you have
November
corporate side.
14th.
They say whatever was left that night was maybe $2,000 to $5,000 of Legos. The rest was either stolen by thieves, the Gormans, or held off site. It was not in that store. And on both sides, there's a lot to lose here, right? You've got the Gormans, who basically have been insinuated to have been stealing. And for Josh and Brandon, too, the new franchise owners, there's a lot on the line. I reached out to Josh, and he told me, I think her pictures would only show a few sets and minifigs. I replied, so if I can prove that the Lego sets were in the store, that will prove Brandon was lying. Josh replies, if it shows something different, then yes, I will eat my words. So the
Eat
stakes
my
have been
ass.
established. And let's see
He's
the
saying
evidence,
that
starting
outright,
with
chat.
Matt McNeff. First, he showed me the video, October 24, 2024, for a baseline of how the store looked.
So this is the Salem Kaiser location, is that
It's
correct?
the Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
seeing a store of Legos. You'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand.
Is that good?
This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked Bricks and Minifigs, but it's not terrible. It's I would say a little below average as far as overall stock. So now let's go to November 14th. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So November 14th, when Brandon was in there helping.
Wait, this is the day. This is like the big day.
This is the day.
Hold on, I gotta prep myself emotionally for this.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is D-Day. This is the big moment. This is Brandon takes over the store.
Okay.
This
And
is
I wanna-
we don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
We don't know where the Legos are after this moment. And I want to point out again that we've had this for a while. We haven't this is the first time we've shown this publicly. We've been waiting for our attorneys to give us the approval to say, hey, this is okay now to share in this capacity. So
All right.
we'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store. this is what the shelves look like compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot less. Just to state the obvious, go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like way less.
So yeah, the pictures I was being shown on November 14th, those shelves looked emptier than they did on the day of October 24th. But to be fair to the Gormans, they
But that could have been after the theft and after they moved shit. Or they could have staged the photos. Like, you never know.
Dressed the
Before the
empty
restart,
shelves themselves.
yeah.
As we
I
get to
don't
the very
know,
end
it's
of
not- it's
this
not
video
indicative
in
of guilt.
particular, right here, you'll see that empty space right here. So this is the retired and certified set section that we have to keep separate from the new in box current sets being sold by
Oh.
Lego. All those empty spaces up there were the sets that we had on display during the day from Brian's collection that every night when the store closed, we pulled off and put back into the safe and then put back out in the morning.
So when they say, see, there's empty space on the shelves, yeah, because we put them in safes at night.
Yeah, that's okay. I can believe that more than like, oh, it's fucking empty.
To keep them safe.
Because we have giant windows.
Yeah, it's an explanation that kind of makes sense given the history of burglary. Now, of course, this is something I had to ask the McNeffs about.
Is this a case of, did y'all see Star Wars sets in the back? Did y'all not see the Star Wars sets in the back? Did he take, not in the back, but specifically in a safe? Like there were a bunch of Star Wars sets in a safe. Did Brandon see those? Has there been talk of those? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. My understanding is that he took pictures of everything, and all those photos I showed you of the Star Wars were all the photos, or was literally all the Star Wars inventory in the store.
Yeah, the McNeffs say all of the photos should be with Brandon of all the Star Wars items. And to be fair to them, they showed me a lot more pictures and even showed me a spreadsheet of all the Star Wars sets in the store the night Brandon took it over.
And they have all the images,
and it valued
too.
to
Look at
about
that.
like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask.
Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all have all of these?
Very likely.
Okay.
Okay. Pictures.
Again, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
But then I couldn't help myself. I started to bring up some of Crystal's photos to see if they matched up.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
So do you see that?
Yep.
So do you see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing? I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Yeah, that actually looks like a safe. Yeah, like it's not a gun safe, but it is a safe. Yeah, you can see the little bars. It's completely black inside.
You see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing. I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
What?
Okay, sure, yeah. So I think the important thing is making sure that all of these are in the inventory for Mansell.
Sure. Sure, that's cool.
75041.
Yep. The Vulture Droid.
75169.
Metal bookshelf with the door. Yeah, with hinges.
169.
Yeah, what kind of bookshelf has hinges? Like, I have a bookshelf. I also have, like, a glass case. And it's, like, not a glass case, but, like, a thing that opens. And it's, like, wooded on the inside. It has hinges. Like, yeah. There's not really, like, a bookshelf. Yeah, display case. Oh, sorry, I don't know why the word eluded me, but yeah.
Not seeing. So there may be. Okay. So there's one that is not on our list.
Yeah, it's for
Let's
like
try this.
dishes and shit that I like.
10240.
Okay. Nope. Not seeing that one either.
What about 9493?
3. I don't see that one either. So maybe those were locked at the time, and Brandon did not get those pictures.
All right, that's kind of a problem because the Gormans had over 200 photos of this store. I definitely knew looking at these photos, there's a lot more Legos.
And the Bormans is the family. The McNells are the other ones, right?
The Gormans photos by quite a lot that Brandon's photos just didn't show. But corporate didn't really see it that way.
But still, in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking again 10 times the amount of sets here.
I don't know. I haven't shown all
or the corpos. Okay.
the photos yet. I don't know exactly how much.
Stupid.
If there's a calculable figure that we can look at and say, great, this is what was there, I promise you it's not $100,000 worth of Lego. And so where's the rest of it?
But you signed a contract. Like, see, I would be more on this guy's side if the value was out of nowhere, but we literally saw the contract between the old man and his son selling the fucking Star Wars collection for X amount. And now we're like, nope, it's not worth it. How's he defining the value for them? Probably by looking on eBay or like seeing other sellers. Like, there's ways to equate value, even if it's a materialistic thing, right? It's not gold where you can like look at the gold standard or whatever the fuck, right? Yeah.
Got me. I don't know.
You can look at comparisons.
Maybe I'm a little too in my head about this U-Haul story. You don't think it could have been
Alana
some
gonna
U-Haul
eat those
thing?
words soon.
There's no way.
Yeah, I didn't fucking pre-watch
have
this, brother.
Have we talked about the U-Haul yet? We gotta talk.
I'm just giving an honest opinion. Why would I fucking eat my words? I'm just like speculating. Come on.
About the U-Haul for a second.
I know
This is another one of those
shit. I
things that
remember
was
seeing
like
this.
really
I wanna see this
disputed
for
between the
reals.
two parties. Was this U-Haul that supposedly was driven up to the store the
Right.
night of the takeover?
So when Brandon came to the store that night, he was driving a U-Haul truck.
I'm gonna
eat
in typical fashion, this was immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about this U-Haul truck. Now, why is it significant, U-Haul or not? Well, one, a U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos, but the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee
It's
of the Bricks and
identifiable,
Minifigs
too.
store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one that Brandon and Josh owned. And he told me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024, and I was working under the old manager, Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where? Okay, now what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
I saw Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because when I was talking to my co-workers about the situation.
My employer co-worker.
We were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted. If you
Haunted?
know what was going around.
What?
But after seeing
A haunted Lego store?
and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us. When he was
Brandon
dropping off
Best.
all the Lego sets to us that night. And he was
Ooh, Mr. Best.
That set were like saran wrap, they had Star Wars CD, they had just a lot of stuff. It was like in a medium-sized U-Haul truck.
Wait, they brought a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. We have a bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, when and was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
Interesting. Weird.
And he said, we're just going to hold on to this stuff until corporate tells us where we have to distribute it. Because we're kind of struggling with, the product we put on the shelves.
Struggling with the product?
Gosh, we really got to find out. Was there a U-Haul that night or not? Because everybody's disagreeing about it. This Eugene, Oregon guy says, oh yeah, a U-Haul showed up with Star Wars sets in it. Brandon was talking about the Salem store. You've got Matt McNeff saying there was no U-Haul there. It was a rental car. You've got Crystal saying, yeah, I thought it was really weird. There was a U-Haul truck there. So I told the McNeffs, I really got to find out what the truth is here.
If you know anything about it, let me know, because that's
This
just
shit
something
is
I heard.
serious, chat.
I do, and it has nothing to do with the Salem.
Do we have any cameras?
Well, at least
Don't they have like cameras outside stores? I feel like that's a pretty average thing to do for a business.
Not
a
at
business.
Not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
So when there was the handoff, there wasn't a U-Haul, it was a rental car.
Correct. He was there in a rental car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think any of the
I'm just
like if you were to look at the footage, the ring
silent.
cameras, all that stuff, you won't see a U-Haul sitting anywhere in the parking lot.
So after hearing all of this, I realized, look, I just gotta find the evidence. So I start sifting through these photos I have, right? I realize I have a parking lot photo. I check it. No U-Haul, just a red truck out there. I check another photo where you could see the window, but the problem is it's night outside,
Yeah,
so
you
you
can't see.
And so I'm looking at everything I can, and there's just nothing, you know? And I have this alternate angle, I'm looking at that.
Can't see.
Wait a minute. Zoom in on that photo. Bring up the brightness of this photo a little bit, and my gosh.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
a U-Haul in the parking lot right outside of the
No
store the night
way.
of November 14th, 2024. This is something that Matt said he had seen footage of, and it couldn't be true.
And again, I believe I have seen footage from that night that shows clearly out into the parking lot, and there's no U-Haul.
After seeing this, I said,
That's a
I really have to
15-footer.
make a call.
That's a big
and
one.
that's when the story changed.
So last night, I talked
Caught
with
in a
Matt
lie.
McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning. You said,
Caught with his pants down, with his dick out.
hey, we looked into it. There
Actual
actually was a
cinema.
U-Haul there that night. Can you
It's
clear up what that's about?
photoshopped, yeah,
So
imagine.
there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand.
Wait. No, not like that. No.
So, and I don't know if
His dick's out, bro.
if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee
Dude,
that worked at
no!
another location. That
Then you could have said that there was a U-Haul, but it was the first time. Sorry, dude. It's not what you think it is. Now we're changing the story. This is why we have justice. We have journalists that actually do investigations. I love that. I love it when people get caught with their pants down and they could have like said the truth, and it would have made it actually unironically more believable if they said, oh, well, we had a disgruntled employee and there was like a U-Haul. Like, come
back
on,
on
man.
the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem
So then you should
for
have said that.
another previous franchisee, like for a different situation that we had
U-Haul.
just gone through some things, and he had a previously, like, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location.
No.
You guys can come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul inventory that then he moved down, but that was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with some time after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
He's looking down.
Yes.
Oh.
So this
he just reminded me of my dog. When he chews up like my gloves or like my shoes, he nibbles on them and then he drags them to his lair, his like cage. He has a cage and he's got little cute little setup there, like pillows and blankets. My dog, when he gets caught, he kind of does this shit. He's like,
Yes.
kind of looks like a dog.
So this is now kind of a strange story.
Yeah, he
Corporate is
knows that he
saying
did.
there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego, but that was from a different night, different collection. The CEO says Brandon showed up to Salem on October 24th for his secret shopper job with Crystal, and separately, he also was getting a different collection of Legos that also included Star Wars, and that's what he brought to the Eugene store and the former employee is remembering. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Brandon flew in to Eugene that night at midnight. So flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on like midnight of the 14th. Went and got a rental truck, and then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved
the story
up there
again, dude.
in anticipation of like a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that why?
Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
He had a U-Haul. Is that the reason he had a U-Haul was for this camper, or what's going on with the?
Yes. So then what happens is he takes his rental vehicle truck and he tries to connect the trailer, the camping trailer, to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight, and he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating for one of their box trucks, and so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th.
Oh, I bet.
And so he then went and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer to a U-Haul, drove that trailer down to another location.
Sorry, 1 second. Let me let my cat out. He's being silly. He's yelling at the door. I try to be so nice to my cat. I don't want to like kick him out, but when he's screaming, guys can hear it maybe, but he's such an ass. He's like, sorry about that. Okay.
Where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped off the camper trailer, and then he arrived in a U-Haul to the Salem store, and then went in, said hi to Crystal, and then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and so he locks it, calls the locksmith, takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty...
Wait. Sorry about all the cuts, but the full explanation is long. Yeah, because he keeps... When someone doesn't have, like, concise... Okay, this is, like, the basic psychology. And again, this is psychology. It's not irrefutable evidence. But people, when they tend to lie... When you're lying, you have to come up with a story and then remember the sequence of the story. But then when you're recalling from memory, you know what happened very concisely. Like, oh, I went to my friend's house, we picked up a bike, and then we went to the store, and then we got drinks or, like specific things because you actually lived that experience. But when you have to fiddle it around, you have to recall. Yeah, you start talking in circles, yeah, and it's hard to keep track of what you're saying. Unless you write it down, which is... I mean, I guess you could do that, but, like, generally speaking. Yeah.
Up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty exhausted, so... and he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck. So he drops it off at, midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that, grabs the rental truck, and then...
If you can remember, it's been over a year now, right? Since this all started. It was the first party ever interaction. Yeah, you could make that argument that it's been a year. However, your memory on stuff like that seems pretty traumatic. You're pretty concise in that regard. It's not like it's a nothing burger. I feel like bringing in a U-Haul and then people taking your shit, you would remember that pretty clearly. That's what I'm saying. Depends on the person's IQ. Nah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get into semantics, but like when it's a real memory, you can recall it, and you can recall something even like a little kid. Little kid's IQ isn't very high yet. You get it better as you get older, but it's changing the story to no U-Haul to disgruntled employee to 2 U-Hauls. Oh, it's actually because of this. Like, I don't know, man.
Heads back up to the camper trailer in Salem, and then, probably gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of, that's a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon, and here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checks out what we already know. Then I got sent a photo, the last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m.
Was it a bird
where you can
cage?
see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. And lastly, I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta get up early for, my other job.
Why did
You
it
moved
take
4
so long?
hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest. If it took 4 hours to unload, you can't also drive to another city, load and unload and drop off the U-Haul in that time. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird, and it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. Nevertheless, without more proof, we kind of have to move on to another theory of how to find these missing Lego. This time, let's take the photographs that we have and reconstruct what was in the night on November 14th. Remember, that's the moment we lost the Lego. And this time, we're going to combine it with 2 more things. First, from corporate, I got the point of sale records from the Salem store from 2023 to 2024.
Who drops off a rental at 2:40 a.m.? I don't think that's that unbelievable. I don't know. It depends. I don't think that's that outrageous. If you're allowed to drop off something, I don't think that's that weird. Yeah.
And secondly, from Crystal Gorman, I got her internal records.
It's
of
a little
Brian's
strange, but it's not
inventory
outrageous.
Of what was sold or not in order to pay him and keep track of prices. Now, before we piece things together, I need to address something. At the beginning of this story, you saw the social post saying this collection was worth $200,000. That's what everyone knows this story as, the $200,000 Lego collection. But sadly, that post was entirely wrong. In Crystal Gorman's inventory, which has a high and low estimate value of these various Lego items, the real estimated value is about $107,000. They give high estimates and low estimates, but that's right there in the middle. And for simplicity, I'll just be using averages and estimates here, but understand that, these numbers are not firm, given that they're
But I
unsold
thought they signed
Legos.
a contract.
It's just rough possibilities. But the point is, it's worth nowhere near $200,000. And Reckless Ben, the one who made the original video covering this, said that surprised him.
Yeah, this entire time, literally every single person's been telling me there were $200,000. Like, that's how much, you could sell all these sets for.
My original assessment of about $200,000 was going up to his father's house and looking in 3 different rooms with all the sets. It was before I'd actually gone through and had set numbers and done an actual evaluation. I looked at it and went based on as things progressed and as I started to delve more into the actual inventory and evaluating it, that number changed. But we put out the press release well in advance of the event itself, so that press release went out before I had those full numbers. So we went, this is a nice even number that will grab attention and bring people into the store. So we went with that.
And to believe that is accurate at the high end. Like, it was one of those things where when she was looking through and going, it says this and it says this, you don't think even at the high end?
You haven't actually seen the spreadsheet.
No, I haven't.
You might want to cut that part out because he hasn't actually seen the inventory sheet.
The spreadsheet says
you might want to cut that out.
From between 85,000 to 120 something thousand. In the midpoint, about 107 or something like that of what was inventory. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a really big point of misinformation to clear up, because if we're ever going to find the missing Lego, we need to start with the right number, the right value. It's about $107,000. Now, between 2023 and 2024, the Gormans record sales of about $24,000 of Brian's collection in their inventory tracking list.
Okay.
And of those sales, Brian was entitled to about 65 to 70% of it. He was paid $17,000, which roughly tracks with that. Which means on November 14th, the big night, the remaining amount of Brian's collection that should have been in there is about $82,000. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize this is a very different number than corporate provided,
$2,000 to $5,000.
$2,000 to $5,000 of it.
Yeah, even if you take into account that it's less than half of what, say, Ben has been propagating, maybe unintentionally or intentionally, that's still ridiculous. Because if you have the proof that they gave him $17,000, this is a lie. You're contradicting yourself. You gave them the money.
Link to Brian. And later they said they only found $13,000 to $15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So you're talking maybe $11,000 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it. So I went through Crystal's photos myself, which she shared with me, and hired people to go through and hand tag the Star Wars Legos that were
holy shit
in these photos.
This guy put in the work.
Over 200 plus photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection.
That's crazy.
In the end, I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos matching Brian's collection that can be proven to be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now, to state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release. Now,
So
yes,
they're still
there are
lying.
inherent errors in these estimates. Maybe we picked up some Lego that matched Brian's collection, but wasn't Brian's. But even though this is a bigger number than corporate said, I have to admit, even with pretty generous assumptions being made, there's still a huge gap of about $61,000 here that I
That's
just couldn't
insane.
find. But then I learned Brian had made a special side deal with MNR Productions, who had recently purchased some Legos from him. And this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the pictures that M&R Productions sent me, looking at the Lego that Brian sold him. This was stuff reportedly in storage, and it's interesting because of an early inventory list, which had a column called Location that Crystal used. And it listed a lot of the Star Wars items as being located in what they called storage. Now, previously, I was told that all of the stuff in storage was put back in the store, but there's a bunch that's on this list that I can't find in the store that seem to appear in these pictures. Now, I've been assured, by the way, that most of these Legos were not part of the inventory spreadsheet. They were never given to Bricks and Minifigs. This is a separate part of the collection, but I did a check, and 100% of the items that match the Brian collection inventory just so happen to be listed with a location of storage.
Storage.
So this starts to make things incredibly fuzzy, and I'm inclined to
scratching
believe
my chin.
that a lot of these are part of that same inventory list. Now, if we take that value of the side deal, that's about $10,000 to $20,000 that's not actually missing. Now, it was at this point I started looking more at the point of sales records. I realized maybe we could find
My
some of
chins,
this
yes,
missing
my
Lego
multiple
there
chins.
too. So this is from the Salem internal store records. Like, I guess this is what is entered when someone does a sale, and it's everything from September 2023.
Let me guess. I'm throwing a random guess out there. What if they just poofed sales with that guy's collection? They just poofed it, and it's really obvious because like an entire like section is missing.
To November 2024 of
pooped him?
Star
Yeah, they
Wars
pooped him.
anything. And by the way, before we continue, yes, this was all a lot of work. If you
Yeah,
want
I
to,
bet.
please support us on Patreon. That's how this show gets made. But anyways, according to those records, about $51,000 in sales went through during this time period in a way that matched Brian Mansell's collection. Now, that really worried me because Crystal's
Bookkeeping errors.
inventory list...
I'm talking about like entire poofs though. One mistake is pretty normal. Yeah.
showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian, and Brian was only paid for that amount. But
Yeah.
suddenly, I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal.
Yeah.
You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand.
Yeah.
But Brian was only paid 17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft
Yeah.
right now. You
Right.
understand?
I mean,
Yeah, it's
without-
muddy.
Again, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
Okay, this is kind of a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. And digging into the details, it turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as
Hold for
layaways,
Walker
meaning they were
layaway.
marked as having been
Interesting.
sold, but layaways are when someone puts a down payment on an item and later pays it off. But the problem was there were a lot of these, worth about $20,000 in layaway, and that felt a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he responded, quote, "There were 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over." So on the list of that, on the inventory list, do you know about how many?
The 60s? I guess it's
Legos?
common in Legos. I don't know.
Count, but I know it was vastly more than 2 to 3.
It was about 98.
That makes sense.
So there were about $15,000 to $25,000 worth of sets on layaway.
Okay.
15 grand on layaway. That's crazy.
That's the part that I can't get my head around.
That's insane.
Let me just be
I was
really
like,
honest.
maybe 10.
I don't believe there was that much layaway. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible. How could there be that much layaway? I don't know. It's like I don't believe, because I was talking to some people about bricks and minifigs. They go, yeah, there's some layaway. There's not that much layaway. I talked to people who were neutral, kind of on corporate side, but also people who were just normal bricks and minifigs
Choked
people.
on a drink.
They say there's
Yeah,
not that much layaway.
mid-
Help
mid-
me understand why there's $20,000 worth of layaway here.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. If you talk to
That's
other bricks and minifigs
ridiculous.
locations, layaway is extremely rare. I think outside of the Brian's collection, I don't think
Did they lay away the collection to themselves? Yeah, good point.
Not crazy here. So then why was there so much layaway there?
No, absolutely not. Outside of Brian's collection, I think at the time we maybe had 2 used sets on layaway outside of his collection.
Mhm.
It was not a common thing.
No, it's not.
I don't know that we'd ever done layaway before the collection came in. With Brian's collection, it was a little bit different because so much of this collection were new in box, all in one place, reasonably priced, and a lot of the harder to find items. And so customers would come in and put, I'm gonna guess, probably half of those layaway items were not gonna be sold.
It's also bad business practice to have that much inventory that like isn't fully like sold. I feel like I don't know about businesses. Keep in mind, I'm just a fucking stupid fox lady, but having 90 items that are on layaway, which is like basically kind of like, oh, I paid off a little bit, but then I'm gonna hold it. I feel like that's
to the person who took them on layaway, because we had several that would put them on layaway and then change their mind. So this was something like, somebody would come in and want 10 different sets but only be able to buy 1. Can I put the rest of those on layaway so you don't sell them? I'll pay $10 to put these sets on layaway. Traditionally with layaway, we would ask for 10% down. They'd have 30 days to make their next payment, or we'd refund the layaway amount and then put it back on the shelf.
That's normal.
Because this collection was the collection it was, and I wanted to give these people the opportunity to... Sorry, dogs.
I was about to say, this is my dog.
We were a lot more generous with how long and the amount of payments that people could make towards the layaway. So a lot of these, we had several of them. I think one of the Ewok villages, we put on layaway 4 different times, and then it came off of layaway and back on layaway and then off and then sold. So a lot of these would have gone on and off of layaway and then back out on the shelf, just depending on the person who was putting it on layaway.
Yeah.
That was completely unique to this collection.
So look, I'll be honest. I don't trust Josh Johnson, but something is weird here. So a lot of these are, look.
And
at
again, it's like the U-Haul thing. Why weren't you just honest and say, oh, we did like 90 layaways? It would give you at least like the benefit of the doubt.
It says POS
Just
final
weird.
sale price, but it's listed as a layaway, but it's sold for $5.99.
Yeah.
Because it matches with the store sale price.
Okay.
So were they on layaway? Were they accidentally marked layaway on the spreadsheet? What's going on there?
Accidentally
without
90
seeing
times.
the actual sales ticket and seeing what else, what items were sold together, what else was sold with it, I can't actually see the sales ticket. We had several layaway items in which customers were putting multiple things on layaway, paying for most of one item, and then, or they were buying, 8 different things together, and then...
That is crazy to me. The only thing I've ever bought on, this is kind of like... It's essentially kind of like on credit, but not really. The only thing I've ever bought on credit is a car. crazy.
Putting all of them on layaway and making payments on multiple items at the same time. Our Ewok Village was one of those cases.
I can't remember what I called it about a year ago.
8 or 9 different items on.
Yeah, it's probably just poor bookkeeping, but the thing that really flags it is like they said 90 times. That seems kind of crazy to me.
Layaway. So they'd come in and make a payment.
My cat is trying to get in the door again.
A bulk payment. You know, I've got 800 things on layaway. I'm gonna make $100.
He's clawing at the door.
One customer in particular would do that, and then when he'd gotten up high enough to pay for one set, we'd pull that set out, mark it as sold. So without seeing the actual tickets and my layaway records, I cannot answer a question any clearer than that.
But I even found more than that in this POS data. I also found about $10,000 in sales that match Brian's collection that were not marked as sold under this inventory spreadsheet.
Some of our things that were not found were explained by the POS system because they were found in the POS system as being sold. So like they weren't marked on the spreadsheet, but they were marked as sold via the POS system. And this is about $10,000 worth of Lego that basically were matched.
See, and I don't know. Take anything happening from, let's see, sorry, I'm trying to do math here. I don't know without being able to see all of the records. There is a possibility that the consignments were ended when I wasn't at work and I just didn't go through and pull them up. They didn't get put in the consignment ticket. I hadn't gone through those consignments in a couple of months. I hadn't gone through the inventory in the back room in a couple of months. So it is entirely possible there were sales that were finished that I never clocked as
this is just awful bookkeeping. I ain't gonna hold you.
Finished. I don't know that without going through and actually
they don't have detailed bookkeeping, and it's a mess because layaways means that you're making payments on something that's like already ticketed, and then they're not really making a new ticket, they're just putting in a new transaction that's under a payment. I get what she's saying, and again, people are like, oh well, that's not a good answer not to know, and I'm like, well, it's kind of on you, and it's also like bad
seeing it.
But you're saying it's possible stuff was sold, not updated on this inventory list.
It's entirely
like, as someone has done secretary work and like done not bookkeeping like this, but keeping track of this shit and then like having to read someone else's fucking mistakes and doing that is so tiring. That's why I couldn't do it anymore.
Entirely possible.
It's really tiring.
That stuff did not get updated on my spreadsheet.
Poor management.
I'm not going to sit here and claim it's not possible. It's possible I missed things.
Yeah, we're
so where does this leave us? I know some people are jumping to conclusions here, but I must remind you that on the night of November 14th, 2024, Crystal Gorman was concerned about Brian getting paid or not getting paid.
He has not been paid his percentage yet, and if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
So Crystal, ultimately, that's a business thing and not necessarily yours. Brandon will take, because taking on the business, he takes on all that kind of side there.
So obviously, one could see that and say she was intending to reconcile with Brian. Maybe she hadn't gotten around to it. And of course, corporate will probably take a more cynical view of what she's doing by printing these receipts. But the point is, regardless of whose side you're on, I think we can all agree there's a lot of weird stuff here on all sides.
For sure.
Abnormal stuff. Sure, maybe you can chalk some of this up to bad record keeping between the U-Haul, the layaways, the $20,000 in Lego sets that corporate called $2,000 to $5,000 that were there that night, the off-book deals. But even if we can't like fully know 100%, what these weird things were about, I think they tell a story of what actually happened to Brian's collection. In a way, multiple people, I think, are kind of right, kind of wrong. The Gormans were correct that more of that collection was there that night of the takeover than previously thought.
Yeah.
But corporate also alleged that some of it was offsite, and that appears to be partly true, although some of that is disputed, and it looks like, way more of the collection was sold and layawayed than Brian was paid for. But all in all, there's a lot less missing than many people think, especially if your starting number is $200,000. I estimated, and I must emphasize, estimated with bad records.
It's crazy to me that there's $20,000 in layaways. That blows my mind. Dude, like, you might as well just take it out on credit. That would be like, oh yeah, sorry, we don't do layaways, we do credit cards. Like, fuck you.
That there's only about $10,000 to
amount.
$20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources. This isn't to say Brian's been fully compensated.
Yeah.
Much of this, Brian wasn't paid for that I know of. So I estimate he's still out about $50,000 to $83,000 for Lego he wasn't compensated for. And I think honestly that's something that Bricks and Minifigs obviously should handle and make right. Regardless of what a franchisee does, the new one, the old one, the company behind it must stand behind their product, their service, and I can't imagine a better example of a company doing the opposite. Unfortunately, Bricks and Minifigs has chosen to deflect and dodge responsibility at most opportunities and created a really awful customer experience that has snowballed into this crazy series.
The fact that there's like involvement with the police, I don't know, man. Again, that's like emotional bias, and I will say that and I'll admit it, but the fact that the police are just so aggressive about it, that was like my biggest red flag. Like, okay, maybe the store owners are assholes, but why the fuck are the police so in on it?
Events. But instead of taking accountability for that, they've taken an aggressive legal strategy, which I told them personally was a horrible idea. As of writing this, Brian Mansell is being sued for $1.3 million as part of a legal campaign against him and Reckless Ben and any of the associates.
That's insane, dude.
Remember, Brian is the same guy who lost all these Legos at Bricks and Minifigs store. And I told the CEO and COO that's ridiculous and they should drop this. Look, mistakes have been made by plenty of people here, but there's a lot more people who have inflicted self-owns, the likes of which we've rarely seen, by just choosing the worst possible path
the puppy dog
at
guy.
every fork in the road. No pun intended. But the best path to making things right, in my view, is by just making Brian whole and moving on. Drop the aggressive legal strategy. You are
Well, they're doing it because he doesn't have money and they know it, and that's why they're basically going through with it.
Lego store at the end of the day, you are supposed to be about fun, not about a rerun of Suits.
Nah, we're about that money, baby.
But anyways, that's my investigation. Those are my closing thoughts. And I knew I wanted to approach everyone involved in this whole story with my results and see what they thought to close things out. Does all that make sense to you? Because I'm showing everyone in this story and saying, hey,
the thing
are
that
any of
doesn't
these
make
numbers blowing your mind, or is any of this crazy to you?
No, it's not crazy. But what's crazy to me, again, like all the photo evidence that both sides have points to there being, sure, $20,000 worth of Lego in this of Star Wars Lego in the store that night, right? I don't know, man. I'm just like, can people understand maybe why there was some confusion and why there was some hesitation when somebody comes in and says, hey, you owe me $60,000 worth of product in Lego, and we go, we don't even know who you are. Like, yeah, Crystal mentioned something about consignment on her way out the door. And we go, sure, we'll get that figured out. But then the guy just walks in and demands $60,000 worth of Lego? Like, what am I supposed to do other than say, cool, show me, can you show me the proof?
The problem is there's so much of a dispute on the timeline, and this is what's going to make this story so hard to tell, is like, they say you got...
They also promised to give it back, and then they never did. Yeah, like, I don't know, bro. Big bro, you got something else going on, man. And then they kept deflecting it back to the CEOs, and he's like, I'm not responsible for it. Take it up with him.
Guys are unreasonable. They tried, and eventually they gave up. But they say they tried it. They were basically met with like unreasonable requests, things like that. So
verification, documentation, is that unreasonable? Do you think?
He has a contract.
Well, I think they would say they provided the documentation, and you guys say you need more documentation. So I mean, that's kind of the
right. A spread, like I understand, a spreadsheet and a contract are a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we never got that. That was never sent to us at corporate, by the way.
Y'all don't.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Don't have the. Y'all do have the spreadsheet though, yeah? Y'all have the spreadsheet.
That was shared
Oh
online,
my God.
but months after we asked for it.
It says it's. I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM Franchising Inc. Owner Salem.or bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.or at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6th, 2024. And when I look at it, this is the Mansell list.
Uh-oh. Caught?
So this would have been created under like so we have the
y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like so if this is the first that anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using like Bricks and Minifigs Salem, like, and all of this stuff was archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal, and we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it was. We don't know
Who's
a lot
Crystal?
of those types of things. And,
One of your employees?
I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't like we don't know everything, and we don't.
You handle thousands of dollars. Crystal was the Gorman woman. Oh, the Gorman woman. Okay. So how is it not what?
Go, like looking in every nook and cranny.
How can you not know? They passed it on, I'm sure, right?
Everywhere, like we just don't know some of those things. So if that's there, we can now have our team go look for that.
When it comes right down to it, they're going to have to make a judgment call and say, who's telling the truth? The people who were taking all the pictures and say, and we couldn't take pictures of everything the night of, but we're being honest consistently, and the people who are saying, there was $5,000 there. Really? Like, that makes no sense. We've got the evidence, and yes, there's a discrepancy. We acknowledge we did not take pictures of everything, but does that mean that the discrepancy is, oh, and therefore these missing, percentage, whatever
I've never seen this spreadsheet in my life.
Is some magical other place? Or it was sitting there in the store and we didn't get pictures of it.
If I messed up,
explanation.
If I messed up on my record keeping, I will take accountability for that. It's possible. If my staff didn't draw attention that consignments had left out, so I'd move them to the thing. Any of that, I will take accountability to that.
Yeah, sure.
I am more than willing to do that.
That's why I hate bookkeeping. It's all your fucking fault.
As they promised to do.
I will sit down with Brian and talk this over and figure out what we missed and where it was missed and how it was missed and make that right with him.
I mean, that's new information no one's ever found out, so that's like awesome. They're gonna lose hundreds of millions of dollars because of their own wrongdoing. They're literally gonna destroy their entire company because they're this stubborn over maybe $20,000 worth of Lego.
That's
crazy. I'll be keeping you in the loop with what
Nice. I'm excited. This was good work. My other final thoughts is, dude, you solved it, dude. That's awesome.
You solved it. Brandon, Best, and Josh are not working at Bricks and Minifigs? Yo, the guy that stared him down? Do you guys remember that? He did the stairge. The stairgy guy? Remember? Someone DM'd me about something. We were watching a video. I was gonna show it after. Everybody say hi to Mom. Yeah. Check my Twitter. I know, you goofy goober. Someone DM'd it to me. I was gonna watch it. I was gonna look at it after the video. Have you been hearing about this Bricks and Minifigs bullshit? This is insane, by the way. Yeah, we sat down and watched this whole investigation thing. It's insane. Imagine ruining your company for maybe 20,000. Yeah, even if you make the argument, it's like, oh, well, it's not 200K. It's actually 20K. Like, what the fuck are we talking about, bro?